see it right here. Chloe Bibby will miss the remainder of the season due to a left knee injury. Now, I can't even remember
that the Indiana Fever have dealt with the Chloe Bibby injury.
Because Chloe Bibby is out for the season. As to whether or not Caitlin Clark will play at all for the rest of the season.
Chloe Bibby, red kryptonite herself. Chloe Bibby is out for the season.
That the Indiana Fever have dealt with the Chloe Bibby injury. I'm not out here saying that Chloe Bibby
is out for the season, and Brea Hall is making her way back to Indianapolis.
Okay, get this. Just a couple minutes ago, the Indiana Fever completely cut Chloe Bibby. This wasn't just any injury. It was a brutal knee issue that honestly ended up being way worse than they let on. What they called a setback before. Yeah, that just officially ended her entire season, and honestly, it's just absolutely heartbreaking to see.
You see it right here. Chloe Bibby will miss the remainder of the season due to a left knee injury. Now, I can't even remember what in the world happened to Chloe Bibby.
But the way the Indiana Fever handled Chloe Bibby's injury, that's seriously raising some eyebrows. Think about it, she was listed as day-to-day just 2 weeks ago, then suddenly back on the roster, only to be yanked off again. This constant back and forth has left literally everyone, especially the fans, scratching their heads and wondering what in the world is really going on with her knee.
That the Indiana Fever have dealt with the Chloe Bibby injury. I'm not out here saying that Chloe Bibby, the Fever training staff, are the reason why Chloe Bibby's injured. I'm actually not saying that, and I don't know that. But what I am saying is Chloe Bibby was listed as day-to-day 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, she was day-to-day. And then all of a sudden, she goes from day-to-day to she's back playing. She was day-to-day, she was in practice, and then suddenly she's back playing.
And seriously, we've got another player officially out for the season after everyone was told she was actually back. We're talking about Chloe Bibby, our red kryptonite herself, who is now gone for the entire year with no Caitlin, no Sophie, and now no Chloe. Let's be real, it's getting incredibly tough for fans to even bother tuning in and watching the Fever play at this point.
We've got another player that is now out for the season after we were told, back for the game, now out, but not a setback. Well, I would, Stephanie White, I beg to differ, because it seems to me like out for the season is probably a pretty damn big setback. And of course, the three players that I was really in tune with, and hell, one of them just got on the team, Chloe Bibby, red kryptonite herself. Chloe Bibby is out for the season. No Caitlin, no Sophie, no Chloe.
So here's the official word. Chloe Bibby is out for the rest of the season because of a left knee injury. And get this is now the 4th season-ending injury for the Fever this year, and fans are absolutely stunned by how quickly her whole situation changed. The team's luck with injuries, honestly, it's just utterly heartbreaking at this point.
You see it right here. Chloe Bibby will miss the remainder of the season due to a left knee injury. Now, I can't even remember what in the world happened to Chloe Bibby. Was she injured during practice? I didn't see anything in the game. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something, but I didn't see anything during the game. And I have to say, man, I've never seen a team go through so many injuries. I mean, this team is being injured so much. The coach is being injured. Did y'all see Keith Porter injured in that last game, sitting on the sideline with that boot on that leg?
Oh my goodness, you guys. Stephanie White just confirmed that Chloe Bibby is totally out for the rest of the season after her knee apparently flared up while traveling. What was first dismissed as not a setback has now completely ended her season, and to make matters even crazier, the Fever immediately signed Brea Hall to replace Bibby on a hardship waiver.
Chloe Bibby being out. But first, I do want to start out with the injury update for Caitlin Clark, as it seems to be looking like she is not going to be coming back for the rest of the season. Now, don't quote me, because who am I to say whether she is or isn't? The answer is, of course, ambiguous as always. And when Stephanie White was asked about it during practice today, this is what she said.
Let's talk about the Indiana Fever and this Chloe Bibby injury, because the timeline is wild. She was listed as day-to-day just 2 weeks ago. Then all of a sudden she goes from day-to-day to back playing. Then suddenly she's back on the roster for a game, but they didn't even play her. And then just like that, she's suddenly off the roster again. Seriously, what's going on?
that the Indiana Fever have dealt with the Chloe Bibby injury. I'm not out here saying that Chloe Bibby, the Fever training staff, are the reason why Chloe Bibby's injured. I'm actually not saying that, and I don't know that. But what I am saying is Chloe Bibby was listed as day-to-day 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, she was day-to-day. And then all of a sudden, goes from day-to-day to she's back playing. She was day-to-day, she was in practice, and then suddenly she's back playing. She's back on the roster for a game. They didn't play her. They gave her a DMP, but she was on the roster. She warmed up.
And yeah, just to confirm, it was announced that Chloe Bibby will indeed be out for the remainder of the season.
Ruptured his Achilles, and now it was announced that Chloe Bibby will be out for the remainder of the season, which, by the way, shows you can't take what Stephanie White says at face value when it comes to these type of things, because she said Bibby didn't suffer what she would call a setback.
Breaking news from the Indiana Fever. They announced today that their forward, Chloe Bibby, is officially going to miss the rest of the season, all due to a left knee injury.
Says the Indiana Fever announced today that forward Chloe Bibby will miss the remainder of the season due to a left knee injury. And in a related move, the Indiana Fever have signed guard Brea Hall to a rest of season hardship contract. Chloe Bibby joined the Indiana Fever July 25th via 7-day contract.
So here's the quick update. Chloe Bibby is out for the season, and guess who's making her way back to Indianapolis? Brea Hall.
Chloe Bibby is out for the season, and Brea Hall is making her way back to Indianapolis. Chloe Bibby is an astronomical player, impactful player, and unfortunately, she is done with the Indiana Fever for the remainder of the season.
Stephanie White actually tried to say there was no setback, just a little swelling from traveling. But come on, swelling while flying is clearly a setback, and fans were quick to call out that contradiction. Within just a few days, Chloe Bibby was ruled out for the season, leaving literally everyone questioning what the real truth was.
But Stephanie White was asked about this, and her words were that there was no setback, just a little bit of swelling because of traveling. And we all said it, and we were like, she's just defined a setback. She just said there's no setback and then defined a setback. And they were like, swelling while traveling is a setback. Unless, of course, they knew she was out for the season. But also, knowing that she wasn't good for the season, also putting her on the active roster when they had more than 8 players and they didn't need to.
And the fans? Oh, they reacted furiously, calling for the Fever to fire their training and medical staff immediately. Comments were pouring in, saying the team's doctors were totally incompetent and that this entire situation was bizarre. People were heartbroken that Chloe Bibby was gone just as quickly as she had returned. It's truly a mess.
So, half the team's out with injuries, yeah. And we're just looking at some rebuttals, some retorts from Fever fans. Fire your incompetent training and medical staff. This brand of apple is rotten to the core. White said there's no setback, but now she's out for the season. Please fire your training and medical staff because they are incompetent, or White is for talking out of turn. Why sign a non-shooter to replace a shooter? We don't have enough scoring. Yeah, we brought in Brea Hall
to try and fill the massive hole left by Chloe Bibby's knee injury. The Fever signed Brea Hall on a hardship contract. But honestly, this just highlights how truly bad things have become for the team. They've already suffered 4 season-ending injuries, and replacing Bibby this late in the season just feels absolutely devastating for everyone involved.
This is crazy work. The Fever have signed Brea Hall to a hardship contract in her place. Now, to break down even more what's going on with the Indiana Fever, they had this article with Indy Star stating now it's evident Bibby had a setback enough to rule her out for the season. The Fever have about a week left in the regular season, wrapping up against Minnesota on the 9th. We already know all this, right? Assuming they have a playoff berth. To accommodate for Bibby's injury, the Fever have signed Brea Hall, their number 20th overall pick in the 2025 WNBA draft.
When Stephanie White was asked about Caitlin Clark and Bibby's status, she actually admitted that Clark hasn't been able to do full contact practice. Meanwhile, Bibby's knee flared up and she was officially ruled out. This kind of inconsistency has left fans feeling completely strung along and incredibly frustrated with the whole situation.
I'm not going to say that it looks like she's going to come back out there. It also looks like she hasn't been able to do any contact practice. So this might be a season that we see without the likes of Caitlin Clark. I am telling you, the only consistency in the Indiana Fever is the inconsistency. It is the consistent injuries happening because Chloe Bibby, although her knee injury was supposed to not be a setback, is out for the rest of the season.
And get this, some were even saying we were considering cutting her anyway because she doesn't fit, suggesting that if she's out for the season with an injury, they can bring in a hardship player quicker. It just makes you wonder about the whole situation.
Like being ruled out for the season because there's 3 games, there's a week left in the season. It could be a 2-week-long injury. It could be a 2-week-long injury, and simultaneously, while being a 2-week-long injury, it could be something that they're like, well, you know what? We were considering cutting her anyway. We were considering cutting her anyway because she doesn't fit. And, you know, at least if she's out for the season with a season injury, and we can bring in a hardship player quicker. We don't need to cut her and wait some time until we sign someone or anything.
Brea Hall was just signed to a rest of season contract, and the Fever now have numerous season-ending injuries, with Caitlin Clark still sidelined. But here's the twist. Many of these players will actually be playoff eligible, including Sims and now Hall, should they elect to keep her around.
So let's put that in our back pocket when it comes to what she says about Caitlin Clark as well. As far as the repercussions of this, well, Brea Hall was signed to a rest of season contract. The Fever have numerous season-ending injuries now. Obviously, Ari McDonald, Sydney Colson, Chloe Bibby, to name a few, with Caitlin Clark still sidelined. What this means for Clark is essentially nothing, because they still would have to get rid of one of the hardship players when she comes back, but many of them will be playoff eligible, including Sims and now Hall, should they elect to keep her.
Big news. The Indiana Fever have officially signed guard Brea Hall to a rest of season hardship contract. This comes after Chloe Bibby originally joined the Indiana Fever on July 25th via a 7-day contract and was later signed through the rest of the season.
Says the Indiana Fever announced today that forward Chloe Bibby will miss the remainder of the season due to a left knee injury. And in a related move, the Indiana Fever have signed guard Brea Hall to a rest of season hardship contract. Chloe Bibby joined the Indiana Fever July 25th via 7-day contract and was later signed through the rest of the season. Is expected to make a full recovery. Brea Hall was drafted by Indiana number 20 overall.
So, it's official. Brea Hall is now under contract with the Indiana Fever for the entire duration of the season. She has officially made the roster, which is a big deal right now for the team.
Brea Hall has signed with the Fever for the rest of the season. So Brea Hall is officially under contract with the Indiana Fever for the duration of the season. So basically, she is no longer on a rookie contract. I mean, she is no longer on a draft situation trying to make the roster. She has made the roster. And yeah, man.
Chloe Bibby was completely ruled out for the season just days after Stephanie White's comments that head swelling wasn't a setback. With only 3 games left, this could have been a short-term injury, but the Fever definitely used it as a quick way to sign a replacement. The handling of her removal honestly shocked a lot of people.
What the hell's going on? Like, it's gotten to the stage where you've even got Chloe Peterson talking about it. 4 days after Steph White said she didn't consider swelling and Chloe Bibby's need to be a setback, Bibby has been ruled out for the season. And it's the one thing, it might be a minor injury. Like, being ruled out for the season is because there's 3 games, there's a week left in the season. It could be a 2-week-long injury. And simultaneously, while being a 2-week-long injury, it could be something that they're like, well, you know what? We were considering cutting her anyway.
Fans are absolutely convinced this situation has become a complete disgrace. They're calling for a league-wide investigation, saying far too many players are going down with season-ending injuries. Bibby's loss just piled onto that anger, and honestly, many no longer trust anything the Fever say about injuries anymore.
Our planned sabotage. No way in hell you're losing this many players to season-ending injuries. The WNBA and Fever organization is a disgrace to basketball. Bullshit then and bullshit now. Look, they wouldn't be taking so much shrapnel if you hadn't had multiple situations where things are so cloudy involving injuries. That's the reason they're taking so much heat. Oh, not a setback, ankle out of nowhere, blah, blah, blah. I mean, yeah, it's...
With Chloe Bibby's season-ending knee injury, the Fever are now grappling with 4 major injuries all at once. The roster is practically full of hardship contracts, and the team is rapidly shrinking in both height and depth. This whole injury storm has completely derailed their season. It's just a mess.
And because they just can't catch a break, you feel me? I mean, come on, dog. No break at all. Injury after injury after injury. Injuries has ruined the Indiana Fever season completely. Injuries have ruined our enjoyment on watching the Indiana Fever. It is nonsensical work how injuries is plaguing this team. I've never seen this ever in my life where a team injuries are just piling up like a football pile, like somebody fumbled the ball and everybody's jumping on top of it. Never seen it, fam.
Bibby's injury makes her the 4th Fever player to be out with a season-ending problem, and while Caitlin Clark hasn't officially been ruled out, that uncertainty alone just leaves fans so frustrated. Bibby's absence is yet another heartbreaking blow in a season that's already completely defined by injuries, and it really stings.
It is the consistent injuries happening because Chloe Bibby, although her knee injury was supposed to not be a setback, is out for the rest of the season. She was taken off the injury report and she did travel with the team to the West Coast, but according to Steph White, all the traveling kind of flared up her knee, but apparently at the time was not a setback, and today she has been ruled out for the season.
Stephanie White was directly asked about this, and her exact words were that there was no setback, just a little bit of swelling because of traveling. But get this, she just said there's no setback, and then immediately defined what a setback actually is by her very next words. It's wild.
Look, it's one thing, like, it's setbacks from injuries happen. That happens all the time. That a player comes back from injury a little bit too early and they end up having a setback and they're out. But Stephanie White was asked about this, and her words were that there was no setback, just a little bit of swelling because of traveling. And we all said it, and we were like, she's just defined a setback. She just said there's no setback and then defined a setback. And they were like, swelling while traveling is a setback. Unless, of course, they knew she was out for the season.
So, let's be clear, it's definitely a setback when you are back in the lineup, and then you're back out, and then you're out for the season. I mean, I would absolutely call that the exact definition of a setback in any book.
So Chloe Bibby was out and then back in and then back out again. And that's why Stephanie White was asked that question. Clearly it's a setback when you were back in the lineup and then you're back out. You know, and then you're out for the season. I would call that the definition of a setback. So again, you know, whether you go back to the DeWanna Bonner situation or Caitlin Clark's injury situation or this, you can't take Stephanie White's public comments about these things at face value. And in a sense, that's part of the job. I mean, I would like more transparency. I would like to not feel like I'm being deceived.
We had plenty of games where Chloe Bibby was only playing 6 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and it's just like, how is it even possible for somebody to be impactful in that incredibly short amount of time? It's just an impossible situation.
She signed for the rest of the season, and it's kind of like Stephanie White just went away from her. We had plenty of games where Chloe Bibby was playing 6 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and it's just like, it's impossible for somebody to be impactful in that amount of time. So really, really unfortunate that we have lost Chloe Bibby. She's a sniper, and I'm hoping that this team gives her a look next season, because I would love for Chloe Bibby to have a chance to be on this roster next season.
The last time we actually saw Chloe Bibby, she was at Topgolf. I'm telling you, it was right there. The last time we saw her, and they just don't want to admit it.
There it is. There go Chloe Bibby right here. Told you. Topgolf. Here you go, right here. Last time we seen Chloe Bibby. Topgolf. Telling you. There it go. Right there. The last time we seen her. They don't want to admit it. They don't want to admit it. They don't want to admit this. It was at that moment her season was over with.
This whole situation, honestly, is just a complete disaster for the Fever. Even the most incompetent training staff shouldn't be dealing with this many injuries. There absolutely needs to be a league-wide investigation into their transparency, because this is just damn ridiculous at this point.
So, yeah, that's pretty much it, lads. That's pretty much it. For me anyway, this whole situation is just a disaster for the Fever. But I also don't think the Fever have done a good job. Like, again, there's no way, even the most incompetent training staff should not have this amount of injuries.
There needs to be a league-wide investigation into transparency. This is damn ridiculous now. Fire Stephanie White. Does anyone believe a word that Stephanie White says? No, I do not. He asked Chloe Peterson. I'm answering you, Larry McReynolds.
They're gonna have 4 hardship contracts as long as Caitlin Clark is out, and that just tells you how incredibly bad the injury situation has become for them. Fans feel completely strung along this entire season, and huddled up really means they're just trying to figure out how to word the PR statement to officially shut her down. It's an all-around bad situation for the Fever, for Caitlin, for Chloe Bibby, and especially for the fans who just wanted to watch some basketball.
They'll have 4 hardships as long as Caitlin Clark is out. Now, that's my thing. They did sign Brea Hall, but I feel like Brea Hall is like a shooting guard. I don't really feel like she's a forward or anything. I don't know. Maybe I haven't watched her enough.
For pretty much the entire season, one person commented, "Strong fans on long enough. Huddle up," meaning figure out how to word the PR statement shutting her down for the season.
But they deserve more money because of the amount of fans, the amount of people that are showing up to games. They deserve more money because of the relevance of the league right now. They don't but that's why they deserve more money. It's nothing to do with the level of play.
Chloe Bibby's season may be totally over, but believe me, the heartbreak is far from forgotten. Don't miss any updates. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share to stay completely connected with everything happening.